Moving ahead on Fox College Sports, we've got women's 67 kilo. That's 147 and a half pounds. Erin Clodgo, Colorado Springs. She's in the red singlet. Adeline Gray, she's in the blue singlet, also from Colorado Springs. Clodgo representing the Sunkist Kids. Gray representing the New York Athletic Club. Gray was 5th in the 2009 World Championships, and Clodgo was 2nd in the 2010 World Team Trials. So this promises to be a good one.
Yeah, both these wrestlers 20 years old, both representing the youth movement, that next generation that's behind. We talked about Saunders, we talked about Christy Davis, we talked about the generation of Elena Peruskova. Now this is the next generation behind that. Erin Clodgo, originally out of Richmond, Vermont, and Adeline Gray, who is a junior world champion and a senior world teamer in 2009, recovering from a knee injury that kept her out of action. She hurt her knee at last year's World Cup and was out of action all year. This is really only her second action of the year. Now in on the leg at 67 with a 1-point takedown. And she's really been the dominant force in the weight class, at least the year she made the world team. Now Christy Davis came back last year in Adeline's absence, made the U.S. world team at 67 on the way down to 69. But here's what you see, the bar series. Adeline Gray wrestles like a folk style wrestler. She uses a lot of bars, a lot of arm bars, a lot of tilts, a lot of power hats.
She worked for the tilt that time and got it. She goes ahead 3-0 here as we near the 30-second mark.
Watch her bar this arm and run it over the top. She loves to go for the fall. I mean, she's got the wrist in the bar. It's one of the most fundamental of wrestling moves, and it still works at the senior level.
Clodgo builds a good base, though. Gray had a tough time with that second tilt. She leads 3-0, but the official stands back up on her feet in the center of the mat. 20 seconds remaining here in the first period. Adeline Gray with a 3-0 lead.
And this is a non-Olympic women's weight class, so both these wrestlers are going to have to decide if they're going to go up or down for next year's trials. They're probably going to make that move for the World Championships. Adeline said in an interview last week that she's going to keep her weight right in the middle. If she has to go up, she can go up. If she goes down, she goes down. But right now, she's going to go up 1-0 with a 3-0 first period win over Erin Clodgo.
So Gray, as you just said, wins the first period by the score of 3-0, Jason. And I like the way that Gray came out very, very tough to bring it to Clodgo in the first period.
Well, she's a wrestler that's had success over Clodgo in the past, so it might even be mental at this point too. I mean, you wrestle so many times, and they've beaten you. It's a question of whether or not can you get past that mental hurdle. You might have the technique and talent, but if it's in your mind that, oh, she's going to be tough to beat, you know, you're kind of at a disadvantage already.
That is if you allow yourself to think that way. Let's see what turns out here in the second period. Erin Clodgo in the red, Adeline Gray in the blue singlet. Gray, the winner of the first period by the score of 3-0.
Yeah, Gray's mobility really doesn't appear hampered at all by that knee injury. She was in physical therapy for quite a while, sitting in the wrestling room in Colorado Springs, and Clodgo in on that single, posting on the elbow and the head, and that inside thigh is Gray now sweeping around the head, kind of counter wrestling here now with the double leg, trying to drive up. Cuts the corner to the hip. That's going to be a takedown. See if she goes right to work on her parterre offense. Nope, she's going to hop right up, try to work that bar. Actually slips back down to the leg lace. So trying to add to her arsenal of moves is Adeline Gray, trying to work that leg lace. If you tie it up and try to get some exposure, doesn't look like she's going to have enough time to set it up, as we're going to bring up to our feet at 1:06 to go. 1-0 lead, Adeline Gray.
Adeline Gray again on the attack here in the second period. Jason, there are 4 Olympic weights with the women, and the non-Olympic weights, there are 3. Run through the Olympic weights if you can. And again, as we say, there's 7 weights in a World Championships, but in the Olympic year, 4 weight classes out of the women's field will participate in the Olympics.
All right, there's 7 weight classes, just like the men.
First of all, let's get Gray as she comes out with another point here on the takedown.
And you see her go right to work on that bar. As she does, this is 67 kilos. It's one of the 3 weights that the Olympics do not have for women's wrestling. It's a world championship weight, and they will also have a world championships the same year as the Olympics, but it's 48 kilos, 55 kilos, 63 kilos, and 72. They're the 4 Olympic weights. The 3 additional weights, 51, 59, and 67, are FILA recognized weight classes, and they wrestle those every year. But the Olympics, because of participation numbers and how much they are allowed for each country and each style and all that, basically the IOC mumbo jumbo, They've only got 4 Olympic weights, and now this is the 3rd ever quadrennium for women's freestyle wrestling.
As the seconds tick away in the second period, and by virtue of winning the second period 2-0 and winning the bout 2 periods to none, your national champion at 67 kilo, Adeline Gray, defeating Erin Clodgo.